Hello, I'm Josh from Vacuums R Us, and I'm going to show you how to repair a Bissell carpet shampooer that is not spraying. I need to start this off with, this video is intended for vacuum cleaner and carpet shampooer technicians at Bissell authorized repair centers. If you take this thing apart and you're in the Denver metro area and bring it into our store, we will charge you $500 million to fix it. If you watch the video and you feel like you can handle this, go for it. But this is not an easy repair. Please don't take it apart and halfway through bring it into a vacuum repair shop, because you're not going to get a warm reception for that. So what happens with most of these that are not spraying is that they're actually clogged. And that sounds simple, because unclogging vacuum cleaners is simple. But for Bissell shampooers, depending on the model, you can have anywhere from 12 feet to 20 feet of hose inside the machine. So the first thing I do before I start a repair is I check to see if I can replicate the reported problem, because people are crazy and they bring stuff in and they say, hey, it's not doing ABC, and we plug it in and not only is it doing ABC, it's doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I'm going to check it first. I always dump out whatever fluid is currently in it, because there could very well be soap inside the container, which is what caused the problem to begin with. Which brings me to soap. Bissell shampoo breaks Bissell shampooers. The soap is heavy and sticky, it leaves a sediment, it dries up, and particularly if you have one of the Bissell shampooers that have the metal heaters in them, the heater heating up and cooling down and heating up and cooling down will crystallize the shampoo, and that will cause a clog. So I'm going to take the wand, and I'm going to try the wand first. I'm going to take off the tool, because sometimes the tool itself could be clogged. Somebody could bring something in, say it's not spraying. All it's not spraying on is the wand, and it's because the tool is clogged. So I take that off, and I'm going to test. Let me grab a bucket here. Did I tell you I'm from Vacuums R Us in Arvada, Colorado? Should probably tell you that. Shameless bitch. We charge $90 to do this repair. That generally, from our perspective, covers about 2 hours worth of labor. Sometimes we come in under 2 hours, sometimes we go 3 and 4 hours. It's basically a flat rate for us. If we get 2 hours into it and have to call the customer and say, hey, you owe us another 45 bucks, they're probably not going to finish the repair. So, you know, we just do a flat rate, 90 bucks, it'll get you unclogged. It doesn't cover parts, but most of the time these things don't need parts. Most of the time they're just clogged up. So I'm getting spray out of the hose on this. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to see if I have spray out of the base. I have no spray out of the base. A little bit, I got a trickle now. A little bit of a trickle. So that's pretty common for this model. There's a number of different versions of this model of Bissell. One thing they all have in common is they have a single brush roller on the bottom of them. I better take the water out of this before I flip it. So they only have one brush roll. The other models of Bissells have 2 brush rolls. That's a whole other family of Bissell shampooers. There's actually a couple other families, but these ones that have single brush rolls all have one thing in common, and that is that the heater, the water goes through the heater when headed to the head, but it bypasses the heater when you're spraying out of the wand. So if your wand sprays, but your head does not spray, you are almost certainly having a problem inside of the heater itself, because your wand spray is not heated. It bypasses the heater in its entirety. So I am going to dig into the heater. The heater on these is in the handle of the machine. In what we call 2X carpet shampooers, the heater is actually in the base of the machine. That is a completely different design of shampooer, and nothing I'm saying here other than they clog up applies to the dual brush roller shampooers. Totally different unit. So if you have 2 brush rollers, stop watching this video. None of this is going to help you. So we're going to pop the handle. When you bought this, it probably didn't have the handle attached. If I remember correctly, in the box the handle's not attached, so this is nothing new. There's another 6 screws that are holding this together. Pop all these puppies out. That one I'm going to need a different screwdriver for because it's in there. No love there. I may have to pause the video and go get a different screwdriver. This is embarrassing. I are a technician. There we go. So apparently you need a long Phillips head for that. Now we know. I've really done this before. Trust me. So Vacuums R Us has been in business almost 20 years. We moved to this location 9 years ago. We're on the corner of 80th and Sheridan in Arvada, Colorado. For those of you out of the state, Arvada is essentially a suburb of Denver. Pretty much everything's a suburb of Denver at this point. Our population has exploded, and as a result, oh, missed a screw. All of our cities kind of blended together. We are a Bissell Authorized Service Center and Warranty Center, as well as a few other brands. Oh, I missed another screw. We are a Ricard dealer, a Miele dealer, SIBO, Royal, Oric, I don't know what else I'm missing. All of the major brands, major premium vacuum brands, and we're a warranty center for most of the department store brands. Notably, we are no longer a warranty center for Hoover or Dirt Devil. It was a recent move by our company. The support that brand was providing to vac shops was such that it was difficult for us to service their customers, and it was reflecting poorly on us. So now there's not a Hoover or Dirt Devil warranty center for almost 20 miles of this location, which in Denver traffic is like a day's journey. So this is where the heater is. They're placed differently in different designs of this single brush roll carpet shampooer, and also the screws that I took out, if you were paying very close attention, how these handles are attached. There's a couple different designs of this single brush roll Bissell carpet shampooer, and the handles, where the screw placement is varies between those, but essentially it's the same idea where you have a clamshell, you take the handle off the top, there's a clamshell, you're going to open that clamshell, and inside of it you're going to find the heater. Now, I've been working with it plugged in this whole time because I live dangerously. Vacuum cleaner tech work is pretty boring, so I like to work with stuff plugged in. It kind of adds some spice to my boring existence. All of that is a joke. Don't work with stuff plugged in. That's stupid. Pop this stuff out. Now, I prefer, when working on these, to unhook as little stuff as possible. One thing you can do if you want, you can take a picture of what you got in there before you start. That way later on, if you have any questions about where wires or hoses go, that'll be that there. My cameraman is laughing at me because I always tell him to stop taking pictures and just do the job, but that's because if he has 2 wires, he takes a picture of it. It's a black wire and a white wire. Just remember where they go, dude. You don't need to take 37 pictures. Just do the job. Anyway, in this case, if you really feel like you should be taking stuff apart and it makes you feel better, go ahead and take a picture. What I prefer to do is I just unhook as little as possible and work with it, kind of work with it where it sets. So, inside of this, on the 4 corners, there are tiny little rubber gaskets that are somewhat sensitive. You want to be careful when taking this apart to not lose those little rubber gaskets. If you do, I honestly don't know where you're going to find them. I don't even know if you can order them. We save them here from some of the carpet shampooers that customers opt not to fix, and we scrap them out, and we'll save a couple rubber gaskets in case we damage them, but I don't even know if we can order those gaskets, to be honest with you. So don't lose them. And they're high temp gaskets. I imagine that you might be able to get some. This is a terrible bit. You might be able to get some from like an auto parts store. So this is probably going to be pressurized when you go to take it apart, because most likely your blockage is in here. When you take a screw out, I don't know if you noticed, I squirted whichever one of these first. It squirted out a little bit because this was pressurized. It was pressurized because the blockage was somewhere in there. And if you look, you can see the crystallization I've got going on there. And these little orange gaskets right here, these are the ones I was talking about. Do not want to lose those buggers. I'm going to actually kind of grab my gaskets and get them out of the way before something awful happens. So I see a ton of sediment in there, but I don't necessarily see anything that screams to me 100% blockage, right? I like it when I open these up and I see something that's just obviously 100% blocked. That's where my clog is. When I open them up like this and they have a lot of sediment in them, I see that there's a lot of blockage in the system, but I don't necessarily see something that I'm confident is the source of the blockage, right? Now, is everybody watching remember where these hoses went? Because I didn't take a picture of them. I mean, 50-50 chance I'll get them back on right? So I'm going to let that hang off the side. Again, I'm a fan of not taking apart any more than I have to. And whoops, I got to get some water in this bucket. I use hot water for this, no soap, no detergent, plain old hot water. So we don't know yet if we're going to post this video. As I am videotaping this, I don't know if this video is going to go live, because I want to do a one-take video. I don't have time to cut stuff out. The last video we tried to do ran almost 3 hours because the repair just got complicated. There's multiple clogs throughout the system. I've done this a few times, obviously, and I got wrapped up for 3 stinking hours trying to make a video too. I was trying to do my best. So again, this goes back to, I don't know if this video is going to get posted. If I make it look easy on this video, don't assume it's always going to be easy. And if you don't think it's fair that vacuum stores and repair shops charge 90 bucks, maybe I should post a 3-hour video of me cussing and swearing at the last Bissell I worked on. That might add some context to how much of a pain these things are. So I am just washing this out with clear water. That's all I'm doing, is just washing it out. Frequently there are clogs in these two endpoints here. That is very common. So if you have something, you can run in there. In fact, I just dumped a bunch of goop out when I did that. So definitely want to make sure you can get through there a few times. That looks good. Nothing in there. Again, though, what I'm worried about with this shampooer is I'm not 100% confident that this heater is the lone source of a clog. Maybe it was, but I didn't see anything that just screamed at me, this is where the clog is. I'm going to clean off this plate too. You got to watch on these plates. You can see there's corrosion here, and there's actually the finish, the veneer of the plate is chipping off. There's some big pocks in there. And that's what happens with this carpet shampoo. Eats into this metal plate, particularly as you heat it up and cool it down and heat it up. It eats this plate, and what can happen, we find, you can actually see there's some corrosion making it through. It can eat a hole all the way through, and then it starts to leak out of the heater. We always advise our customers not to use their heater anymore after they've gotten this repair back. The heater only heats the water up maybe 10-15 degrees typically. So it's not doing much, and it certainly is the source of a lot of your problems. It was mostly a marketing ploy really. I have heated water, nobody else does. And the modern Bissell heaters have actually done away with their heaters. They may say that they're heated cleaning, but all they're doing is they typically will just blow the exhaust of the motor onto the floor. Some of them, that's what they do. They blow the motor exhaust on the floor to theoretically, I guess, blow dry the floor. I'm not sure how well that works. And I think one of them, the Revolution, I think actually blows the exhaust up, or has a little heater that heats the water container. Just use warm water. How difficult is that? Just use warm water. You don't want to use boiling hot water because it can damage the plastic components in it, but just use warm water in your carpet shampoo. You'll be good. The really critical piece with carpet shampooing, when it comes down to it, is what solution you use. We stock Unique products. They are a bacterial enzyme-based product. I wasn't really happy with them because they're super concentrated, so they end up being a pretty good value. They're actually cheaper than most of the shampoos that are in the grocery store because of how concentrated they are. And they don't cause this crystallization. I mean, they're all natural and homeo, I don't know what, but they work and they don't break your machine. That's a selling point for me. Their pet stain remover is absolutely amazing. Most carpet cleaning stores that deal with vacuum cleaners actually have Unique products in their store. They're super popular in our industry. Part of the reason being that we use their pet stain and odor removing products to deodorize vacuum cleaners that may have been used for wet pickup, accidentally picked up some animal urine or something like that. A lot of us use the product to deodorize those machines. I ever remember how this went together? I don't. Let's see. I'm going to say that looks pretty good to me. Most of the time with this kind of stuff, you can follow the hose pattern because the hoses and the wires have been bent into a particular shape for quite a while. So typically those hoses are going to want to bend back to the shape they were in before, and you can just go ahead and follow that. You can figure out where hoses and wires lay by just kind of following where they naturally want to fall into place. All right. Put the one wire that I unhooked back there. So I unhooked one power wire on this that went to the switch to give myself enough leeway to pop all this stuff. Now, I honestly do this repair differently every time, I think, so I'm sure there's plenty of other ways to pull this thing out and get the wiggle room that we need. But that's the way we did it this time, and it seems to have worked pretty much. Alright, so I got all these wires into a position that will work. It'll close down, that'll clamp down there and keep that hose in place. So I'm going to go ahead and test this. Before I button the whole thing up, I'm going to make sure that it works. Quick look over here. We've got some water leakage here and there. I want to make sure I don't have any wires that are lying in a pool of water or anything. I don't see anything like that, so I think I'm pretty good there. Oops, I'll pop my power wire off again. Okay, and so I've got that turned off. I'm going to dump this water out. I'm going to use this water bucket to spray into. I need to leave this lean back. I'm going to plug it in now. I need to leave it lean back now because that heater is not actually held in. It's held in by that plate, the clamshell. So if I stand it up at this point, the heater's just going to flop out on me. I actually do not expect this to spray at this point. Well, or even turn on for that matter. Did I plug the right thing in? Yeah, it looks like I pulled a wire while I was in there. Maybe this will be another video that doesn't get posted. So while I was in there, something got pulled. Okay. So that's embarrassing. The switch that's on the side there is the heater on-off switch. I totally forgot. The power switch on this model is on the back. It's a step switch back there. I was thinking the last one I worked on, the power switch is up here on the back. This switch that I was flipping up here to try to turn the machine on is actually the heater on-off switch, not the main power for the machine. Again, really, I am an expert. I really am a professional. Alright, so this white plunger up here, still turn it on. And I still got no spray. I'm going to verify I'm still functioning here. Still got spray there. So I'm good there. Power off. Unplug. So I most likely have spray. I most likely have spray in the heater here, but I'm going to double check. You can pause that. I got to find a hose real. All right, so I'm back. I had to get this little piece of hose. We used to order this hose and links directly from Bissell as a dealer. We were able to do that. We haven't ordered it in years. I don't know if they still have it or if there's an alternate hose. I mean, I imagine there's some kind of aquarium hose or something like that would be the right size. Well, so as you saw when I got squirted in the face, this was pressurized. So I don't really need to show you the test, but I'm going to do it anyway. The fact that this is hosing me down. It's just water and electricity. It's fine. Seriously, do not try this at home. I don't need anybody suing me because I had water on electric wires and I turned it on and I didn't get electrocuted. Jen, there's a readily available hose of whatever size that is, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So if anybody knows, you can certainly let us know in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in and turn it on. See if I get spray here. So oh, there we go. Okay, so the heater's not clogged. I'm flowing directly through the heater without any problems. The clog is elsewhere. Now, we had to pop the heater, and you really should pop the heater first if your troubleshooting shows that you have spray through the wand but not at the head, because at least 50% of the time, your primary and only clog is only in the heater itself. So 50% of the time, your repair may be done now, and you're good to go. However, as I said at the beginning of the video, don't get into it this far with the hope that you're going to be the 50%, and this is all you're going to have to do. And when it stops here, put it in a big cardboard box and we'll walk into your local Bissell repair store and say, can you fix this for me? We don't want to see that. We don't want to see it because you're going to lose 3 screws and some kind of a valve or a hose or something on the way to the shop. We don't want to see it. Either have somebody else fix it or accept the risk that you might not be able to complete the repair. So we're going to go into the head of the machine now. First thing on, I think all Bissell shampooers, before you take the top, it's a clamshell, you got the top half, the bottom half. Before you take the screws out, take like a hammer, anything this size, and put it underneath the back of the machine. And you'll see why in a second here. But just lift off the back of the machine. On this model, there are no screws. This is something that just pops off on its own. I'm going to try to move this around a little bit so Art can get a little bit closer here. So I've got a couple screws in the front. Again, there's several types of Bissells, and where your screws are located is going to vary slightly between different models. But essentially, with the single brush roll design Bissells, you're essentially going to be taking this top off and lifting it. And there's going to be a couple screws here, a couple here, and a couple around in here. You'll be all right. You'll figure it out. Look for the shiny things, the little X's in them. That's what you're going for. Oh, don't drop them. Don't drop them and then go to your local vacuum store and say, hey, can you fix this for me? All right, I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's all I think. All right, so there's my lid. Set that aside. And this holy mess in here is where we're going after next. So if you look close, we have some clear tubes here, and I can actually see sediment in the bottom of this clear tube here. Resting right in there because there's been no fluid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spray tip off. Find my lineman tool, there it is. I'm going to take this spray tip off, and I'm going to see if I can actually spray without the spray tip. The spray tip has a, there we are. I know this is not the ideal camera angle. So the spray tip basically has a pinhole in the end of it, and it's super common that you might clog your spray tips with this sediment. And I mean, I look into it, it looks like it may or may not be clogged, I don't know. So now I've got my spray tip off. I am going to make sure my hammer is there. So the reason, if you look, these this clamshell design, the upper clamshell screws into this and lifts this up. When you take the top clamshell off, the back falls down, and there's this gap here, right? So you rest the back end of the machine on a hammer to keep these wheels in contact with the lower half of the clamshell. For troubleshooting purposes, you need to do that because you're going to be putting this right there. Now it's important, these pumps, and I don't know how the pump works, I just know it does. There's a hose on the top of it that actually hooks up to your suction line, and that hose is what helps to prime the pump. I don't know how it works, I just know it does. So were you to turn this machine on with a water tank on it, right, and you had an air leak, totally separate systems. You have a air pump here that creates a suction and a pump here that creates water flow. But if you have this air leak, what will happen is your pump won't self-prime. And it'll look like nothing's working, but all it is that maybe you took this off or whatever, but these things actually prime. Boy, you are a pain in the butt. There we go. And right here, where your lid, you have your gasket right here, you're going to want to make sure that you're close enough here that when you turn it on, the suction creates a seal there, because that's going to create the prime for this pump, right? So we're ready for an open test. I'm going to grab my test bucket, and I guess I'll plug it in. I haven't been working on it with it plugged in this time. Look, you can see there's all kinds of gross sediment in there, and that's what comes from all the soap crystallizing in these machines. And again, I'll say it again, shameless plug, I do not get any kickbacks from Unique marketing for this, but we recommend and we use in our house Unique carpet shampoo and spot remover because it doesn't break stuff. I'm going to pop off the other spray tip. We also sell it, but chances are good you're not in the Denver, Arvada, Westminster, Broomfield, Colorado area, so you'll have to find another vacuum store to buy it from. I'm going to take off this other spray tip. These things are a pain to get off. There we go. Over there. I'm going to pinch this side. I'm going to zip tie this shut. Excuse me, Art. If anybody right now is judging me about how messy my bench is, I just want you to know I get stuff done. Okay. This is the bench of a busy man. I fix stuff. All right, so I'm just going to zip tie. This is the one we just flushed out. I'm going to zip tie that shut. And wash, rinse, and repeat. This hose has got to come out. It's got to come out the other side, so I'm going to flip the whole unit around carefully. All the while getting water all over the place. Alright, so same diggity, plugged in, set the spray trigger, and we're spraying. Both sides are flush. So, you at home, I hope you're not doing this at home. You at home have two options at this point. You can try to gore out those spray tips, because those spray tips are clogged, or you can replace them. I would buy yourself some spray tips before you even start this project. They're like $4 or $5 a piece. There's a couple different types of spray tips. Make sure you get the right spray tips for your model, because it is model dependent. But I just replaced the spray tips. The problem I've had is that little pinhole that's in the spray tip, if you try to unclog it and gore it out, you might actually increase the size of the pinhole, which makes it so that it doesn't spray right. It might drip more than spray, or a fast drip, and it changes the direction of the spray potentially. And for $4 or $5 a piece, if somebody's already paying me $90 in labor to get into this thing, I figure we probably ought to spend the $4 and replace the spray tips altogether and get it running 100%. So I'm gonna go grab some spray tips, and I'll be right back. All right, so if you happen to have a Bissell, it has only one brush roller in it. And I'm not positive, but I think all of them use this spray tip, I think. And that's 210-6107. I'm not positive, but I think if memory serves me, I think they all use this spray tip. And did I mention Vacuums R Us in Arvada, Colorado sells this spray tip? Come on down. As of this recording, they're, I don't know, $4, $5, $6, something like that. Prices fluctuate, who knows. But you can check on our website, vacuumsrs.com, shameless plug, and it'll show the tips. All right, make sure when you put the tips in, there's a little hook here on the side for a hose. Make sure you do put the hose in that. It keeps the hose from falling down into this motor shaft. If it falls down in the motor shaft, it'll burn through. Oh, you know what? I'm dead wrong. I'm gonna delete that movie, because those spray tips are completely wrong. Alright, so I got my spray tips. I was going to give you the part number for this. I realized I had the wrong part. And I don't even know if giving you the part number for this is going to do you any good, because as I said, every one of these stupid things takes a different spray tip. So get your model number and go from there. If you're going to go to a local shop like Vacuums R Us in Arvada, Colorado, bring them your model number, and if they are worth their salt, they'll look up the schematic for your machine and they'll know which tips to get you. But you need to bring your model number. Please don't bring part numbers. We don't trust part numbers from customers, because particularly to Bissell, if you found your part number off some random MrFixit.com website, Bissell changes part numbers all the time. I don't know why. But I have seen that they change part numbers quite a bit. So we prefer, give us the model number. All vacuum stores prefer that. Give us the model number, because then we can look it up on our schematics, find out what the current part number actually is for your actual machine, and we can be sure that we're going to get you the right part. We hate returning used parts because we can't resell them. So we want to get you the right part and get you on your way. So always when you're looking for parts for any machine, bring your model number with you. So at this point, did that even pop out like that? I just crossed my hoses. There we go, that should be good. There we go. Around there. And that purdy. All right. Now we're going to throw everything back together again. Recheck my hoses. Make sure everything's ran all right here. Keep one to pop out down there. Wires are tucked. That's where you go. Yep, you go down there. Okay. So when we screw this top down, particularly on older models, this is a newer model, but on the older models, the plastic is super brittle. And when you're screwing this down, you need to be super careful not to over tighten the screws, in particular the back screws. Because what can happen is you'll shatter the housing. You can. I ran that hose wrong. Yes, I did. Is that right? I think so. Anything else pop out while I was at it? I'm trying to do this right the first time because the only thing I hate worse than making videos is editing videos. I'm not going to edit that out. You're just going to have to suffer through it just like I suffered through experiencing it. There we go. Call it reality TV vacuum repair. Anyway, I've got a clutch on this driver. I happen to know that this is a very gentle driver, so I don't mind using it to tighten my screws down. But I don't necessarily recommend that. Because if you break the housing, if you over tighten and you shatter the housing, on the older models, the lower housing is not a part that's ever been sold. I think that's the case on the newer models too, so you can't actually get a repair part. If you shatter the housing where the screws screw in, then you're done. And after all this work, wouldn't you rather not break it? Whoops, one side of screws. All right, so that is most of the top. Don't do that. I just realized Real learning experience. I forgot, one of these screws is actually shorter than the rest, and that screw needs to go in the front plate. And now I need to find the short screw. There it is. Alright, so don't do that. On this particular model, the one screw that screws this plastic piece on up here is shorter than the rest. So save yourself the drama. Alright, now the lid. So the little tabs right here, they go down in here. I'm going to double check and make sure all my wires are copacetic, which they are not. It's wiggled its way out. This goes around this strain relief here. That's up there. Here's on there. Little plunger going on. All right. All right, so these tabs go in like so, and then this should go on without too awful much drop. I'm pressing somewhere. Must be there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I'm good and tight on. Put it upright position, pull my handy dandy hammer out. That's interesting. Their hose is melted. That ain't good, is it? Wonder if they know that. We'll throw some silicone on that for them. We'll call it a value add. Alright, so small screws. I'm gonna leave those bottom ones for last. Okay, finally the handle. That was the two large black screws. This should be familiar now because this is what you did when you first got it. Front plate back on.